Hey, Ideal Protein Nation. What's this? 2 times, 2 weeks in a row? This is craziness. Yeah, no, I am on it right now. We're on a roll. I had 2 shows in the hopper as of a couple weeks ago, and things just worked out. You know, God tends to do things in the right order. I've got an amazing woman that we're going to interview today. I'm so excited for you guys to meet, and it was fortuitous. It was in the plan, really, that we needed to save Bev for this week. Hey, for those of you who are new to the Life Possible podcast, I've got 10 or 12 new people who just started following me in the past week. The Life Possible podcast was created during the pandemic to showcase successful clients, coaches, and clinic owners who have used the Ideal Protein Protocol to reset their body, reset their mind, and actually reset what's possible for their lives. These people now are living lives that they never knew they could. They thought were dead and gone. They're doing things that they never thought they would ever be doing again. So who am I and why do I even do this? Well, I tell you what, my name's Dr. John Barnes. And, there's no easy way to put it. Back in 2015, I found myself fat, sick, and depressed, and I didn't see a way out. I had ruined my metabolism, and I had no idea how to fix it. And I truly believe that God brought me the Ideal Protein Protocol as the answer to not just my personal prayers, but also my professional prayers. I truly feel that there is no larger or more important mission in healthcare today than the fight against overweight, obesity, and metabolic disease. And in fact, that a nutritional metabolic problem requires a nutritional metabolic solution to achieve long-lasting results. I truly believe, after now 8 years of experience, not only researching the Ideal Protein Protocol, but delivering it to hundreds of clients, that there is no more effective, efficient, user-friendly nutritional program that restores metabolic health, creates meaningful, lasting weight loss, and delivers results that are predictable and repeatable and measurable, like the Ideal Protein Protocol. So, who do I have today? I tell you, today I've got, that's me, because I can do triathlons now. Let's move forward. I've got Bev Robison. All right. Bev Robison is an amazing lady. She is 62 years. She'll be 62 years old in 1 month. She's an Ideal Protein coach at a PharmaSave in Ladysmith, Vancouver. About 6.5 years ago, she and her husband lost over 90 pounds doing the Ideal Protein Protocol. And that inspired her and moved her into a situation where she became a coach. She is such an inspiring coach that she was asked by Ideal Protein Corporate last month to deliver some coaching and some inspiration to the entire company. This is how I found out about her. And I decided that, you know what, we can't just keep her to the corporation ourselves. We've got to spread her throughout all of Ideal Protein Nation needs to learn of Bev. She also brings with us a great love for Dr. Tran, who was the original developer of the Ideal Protein Protocol. And she uses his book, Because It's Your Life, to teach and coach with on a daily basis. So we're going to do a deep dive into his book and some of her favorite teachings that she uses all the time. This is bound to be a very special show. So hang on tight, Ideal Protein Nation. Let's bring Bev in. Where are you, Bev? Hey, there she is.
Good morning, everyone. What an ideal day.
Oh, good morning, Bev. And I love how you say stuff like that. You're so inspiring. And I just, like I said, ever since I found out about your story, I've been dying to have you on the show. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much. I'm honored. I really am. Thank you.
So let's dive right in since we've got a lot to cover. Let's dive into how you found out about Ideal Protein in the first place, where you have been with your weight during your life, and what brought you to the concept that you might want to try it yourself.
Okay, well, for 46 years, I've been yo yo dieting. I have done every single thing. I have lost weight with absolutely no problem at all. The one thing I was never able to do was to keep it off.
Gotcha.
So whenever anyone asks me what I lost on this protocol, I tell people what I've gained. And what
No.
I've gained is confidence, mobility, healthy eating, fantastic relationships, making a difference in people's lives, and having the honor to be able to be an ideal protein coach. And it's all because of this. It's all because of Dr. Tran's protocol and him being such an inspiration.
You're making me cry already, Bev. I think the timer says 6 minutes, 6.5 minutes, and I've already got tears in my eyes. Yeah, just so absolutely amazing.
It's
Keep
been
going.
absolutely incredible. And everything that we need for coaching our clients and ourselves is in this book. Every single thing that we need. So at 56, I thought I was pretty fit.
Yeah.
I was 230 pounds, but I never had any problems whatsoever. And I exercised regularly, ate poorly, but still thought I was in good health.
And you know what? I'm just going to stop you there, Bev, right?
Mm-hmm.
How many people is that their story, right?
So
many people, right? And the thing to me that I like to my clinic used to be Barnes Chiropractic Health and Fitness before I became Reset Wellness, because there's a huge concept that people miss. Health and fitness are two totally different things. Just because you're fit doesn't necessarily mean that you're healthy, right?
Absolutely. 100%. And I see this all the time. And what's really difficult is when I hear people come in and say, I'm healthy, I'm just on high blood pressure medication and cholesterol.
Right.
I mean, but to those people, they're healthy.
Yes.
And it just blows me away. So I thought I was healthy. I could do stuff, and I looked after myself, and I had a physical job.
Right.
And then I moved to Ladysmith, and here I became a head cashier. So I saw the Ideal Protein Protocol, and I thought, yeah, well, it's just another diet. And sure, I see people losing weight, but what do I really want to see? I want to see people keep it off. Because that's what was important to me. It didn't matter about the weight loss. What mattered was people keeping it off. So I did. I watched for some time. I procrastinated for some time.
Didn't we all?
Oh, yes. Until I started to have some knee problems, which I never, ever had before.
Yeah.
And they were getting a little bit more serious. And one night we were at home, and I fell to the floor, and I could not get myself up.
Yeah.
And my husband couldn't get me up. At that time, I was 92 pounds overweight. So what I decided to do was I was going to fall asleep on the floor.
Oh, my God.
And hope that I could get up when I woke up.
Oh, my God.
And that didn't work. I still couldn't get up. And my
husband, you literally slept on the floor that night.
I just laid on the floor, and my husband covered me with a blanket, and I could not get up. And he couldn't get me up. He was 90 pounds overweight at the time. So being in a small town, of course, everybody, including all your paramedics and everything.
Right.
And he had to call for the paramedics to come and help me. For one, I had to get to the hospital. So when I got there, the only thing that was determined, they did every test that they could. And what was determined it was my weight.
Wow.
I was in shock.
I remember you shared that with me. You said your diagnosis was being overweight.
Being overweight. I'm like,
yeah.
What? And this is at 56? Are you kidding me?
Right.
So at that point, I knew I had to do something. And I said to my husband, okay, I just have to bite the bullet and do this. And he said, well, I'm going to do it with you.
Oh.
So he had 90 pounds to lose. I had 92. Of course, he lost it way faster than I did. That's okay. I understand that now. And there we are.
Yep. Yeah, you sent me these, but just these really great before and after pictures.
Yes. And what sorry, I lost my train of thought there.
No, he said it was where he said that he was, he's going to do it with you.
He's going to do it with me. So I came into work that day and decided, okay, this is it. And I started reading Dr. Tran's book, and it ripped my heart out. Absolutely ripped my heart apart. Because everything I was feeling, everything for the past 46 years was in this book. And the pages actually that I read that really meant so much to me is what I have my new starts read their first week. Because it talks about self-love, how you have to love yourself to be able to lose weight. How the only way for success is to be able to love yourself and treat yourself with compassion. And it really brought everything to the forefront. So
Okay.
I'm going to
stop you. I'm going to stop you right here, Bev, because I feel like we need just a little bit of clarification for our viewers and our listeners. What Bev is referring to is this book here. If you can see it, it's called "Because It's Your Life: Uncover the Innate Strength You've Always Had to Reset Your Weight, Your Health, and Your Life for Good" by Dr. Tran Tien Chanh. Right? And so this book, actually, I'll show you, we can do this now too, right? So I'm going to show you, this was the original one that I got when we joined Ideal Protein back in 2015. In fact, I've got, it's very special to me because I was able to get Dr. Tran to inscribe it. But this book, a lot of times is used with dieters, with clients who are just getting started. And it not only talks about the science of the protocol, which it does give, really great description of why the science of the protocol works, but the most powerful part of it, is those beginning pages where he talks about the psychology of it, if you will, even though he says, I'm not a psychologist, right? And so, Bev, you're saying that when people start at your clinic, they have to read a certain section of the book as they're getting started that first week?
Absolutely. I have them read from page 19 to 47. It may seem like a lot, however, it really isn't. It's a lot of
27 pages, 28 pages.
Exactly.
And it goes like that.
It goes very quickly, but what it does is it brings to light that, number one, this is normal. It's okay to feel this way. However, we also have to sacrifice some habits to remove the layer of fat.
All right. So we're going to get into this, ladies and gentlemen, in the second half of the show. If you've got this book, I would have you grab it, press pause and go grab it. If you don't have this book, I would ask your clinic. After we're done with the show, you're going to want to get it. So I would inquire at your clinic as to if they have it in-house or if they can order it for you. So yeah, let's get back to your personal weight loss and your husband's loss. Darn it, he's losing it faster than you are.
Right? I know. What's that all about? So as I started this, I thought my intention has to be stronger than just the pounds on the scale. So what my why was to be able to look after myself and my family as I age, so that I have the mobility and the confidence to be able to do so. And that couldn't have come quicker than what I thought, because my husband, he was diagnosed and needed heart surgery. So
Okay.
he had open heart surgery. Here's the thing. After 90 pounds, my husband did not know he was sick because he felt so good.
Wow. Wow.
He did not know he was sick. He had a
Yeah.
slight cough, persistent cough.
Yep.
So I asked him to go to the doctor. So after the heart surgery, he was great. Everything was fine. Throughout that whole time, I took coolers of food to the hospital. We did not deviate. I looked after our meals. I looked after absolutely everything. We were able to stay on protocol.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, because hospital food is not going to do it, right?
No, definitely not. And the mental clarity is what's so important to me. And
Yeah.
being on this protocol gives me that.
Yeah.
So then Floyd was ready to go back to work. And then he was diagnosed with lung cancer.
Oh my God.
But you know what? We did not waver. We knew that everything we did, we had to do well. So we had a lot of medical problems in with that time and a lot of uncertainty. But there was one thing for certain: we knew that we were going to do it well, and we were going to do it with Ideal Protein, and we did.
Wow. Wow.
My husband, he has passed. It's going into 5 years. But the last 3 years of our time, we actually experienced life again. When we would go for lunch, we actually packed our lunch and we would take it to little gems on the island we didn't even know we had. And we were actually living life to the fullest. So I credit Dr. Tran for giving us that and for giving my husband some more time to be able to enjoy life.
Oh,
so together we lost 182 pounds.
Yeah, that's just so amazing.
And I'll tell you,
Bev, go ahead.
Floyd was he was a gourmet cook, and I thought, oh boy, this is going to be real tough. But you know what? He learned to cook different, and the food was even more delicious than before.
Right?
So that was really something for him to come into something that was so restricted and then to be able to maintain from.
Yeah.
So
that's, and that's the thing real quick. I'm sorry to interrupt you there, but people have to understand this, right? And people, like you said, it seems like it's such a restricted diet, right? It's not. Look at everything that you are able to have. And I always, whenever anybody tells me that their husband or their wife is a gourmet cook, I'm like, oh, this is going to be awesome. Because what are a lot of the shows that you see on the Cooking Network? It's a competition between 4 or 5 chefs. They're given 3 ingredients. Make me the best thing you can make with those 3 ingredients, right? Like if they're so good, they're going to love this and they're going to see it as a challenge, and you stand to benefit from that tremendously. And the maintenance lifestyle, I like to tell people, eating healthy doesn't suck, right?
Absolutely not. And how many times will I hear someone say, I'm so stressed, I don't want to think. Well, first of all, you would have much more mental clarity if we were taking care of what we're actually consuming.
Right.
It takes less. It doesn't take any more time to think about eating unhealthy or healthy, because in reality, when you're eating unhealthy, it's that hamster wheel. It goes round and round and it won't stop.
Yeah.
So I really try to coach that.
Yeah.
And what I was also going to say is, going through all of this, I maintain my home. I have 3 dogs and I worked full time. And there was a lot of uncertainty, a lot of medical appointments, but my why was so important. And I'm going to tell you, I coach that every single time I visit the why, always. I have one client.
Yeah, this is one of your big deals, right? What is your why? And yes, I love this story. Tell us.
One of my clients, her why was to be able to come off of her high blood pressure medication, cholesterol medication, and to be able to live longer for her grandchildren. She lost 60 pounds, and she did not tell me about what I'm going to show you, but she had this tattooed on her
Oh my
arm.
gosh.
What's your why?
Yeah.
I mean, are you kidding me? That didn't even come from a book. That
It's
is
mind
powerful.
blowing.
That is powerful. She came in one day, proud as punch, showing me that. I mean, can you imagine?
I can't.
Profound,
You told me. I've been thinking about this ever since you told me the story a couple weeks ago.
the
Just
profound effect that has on someone's life. And we
yes.
as coaches, that's what we do. We are gifted to be able to share that and to share the passion of, again, Dr. Tran's book, because everything we need is here. And our why is so important. Our why has to be more important than the food in front of us. Are there times we're going to make a different decision? Of course. But our why still needs to be important. So I coach that, and I ask somebody what their why is. And at first, of course, they look at me very strange, and I explain why I'm asking that. So they understand, once you hit your goal on the scale, your why will never end. And that is so true for me. It is the truth. And I'm just so happy that I've experienced it. And I can say that's what helps keep this off, as well as the stabilization and the learnings that we have through this protocol.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
because my why had been so strong, I've been able to do so much and be so independent and learn and live. And on a happy note, I'm getting married in September.
Oh my God, Bev, I'm so happy for you.
Thank you.
I'll tell you, I took the liberty of checking you on Facebook. I hope that you honored my friend request.
I did.
And the pictures I saw up there just warmed my heart so much. Don't
Thank
you? Again, to me, that you are one of the most amazing examples of living life possible. When Ideal Protein came up with that concept of life possible, this is it,
It
right?
is. And it doesn't mean that you have to do stunts and go on extravagant holidays. What it means is living your best life possible.
Yep.
And how important is that? And that we get to share that with our clients and impact their lives to the point where they do this.
Right?
That was pretty special. I'm going to tell you, John, I was hyperventilating.
Oh, I can't even imagine. I think that is just one of the highest honors somebody can give a person, and the impact that they've had on their life.
Absolutely.
That says a lot. That's so neat.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. So,
and I'm still going strong today, maintaining my weight, and
yep.
through tune-ups and such, of course.
Of course. It's an Ideal Protein best practice, right?
Exactly.
That's what Amanda taught us. I love that. I love that. So how did you transition into being a coach in the first place?
So what initially happened is I hadn't quite lost all of my weight, and our coach had gone on to different aspirations, and I was asked if I would be a coach, and I'm like, well, hold on, hang on here. I was very apprehensive because I've never been able to keep my weight off. Well, in this industry, you kind of have to do it, right? Not kind of, you have to. Yep. And I was very reluctant, and I was really nervous. And at that time, too, my husband was very, very ill. Oh. And I thought to myself, well, hold on. I believe in this so much, and I believe in this so much.
Yeah.
That I had been given a gift, and why should I not share that gift with people and my passion?
Yes.
So then I decided this is what I'm going to do, because I've been blessed, and it's my gift to others. And I'm so happy that I've done it and that I'm doing it. And I truly believe I coach from the heart.
Yep. Yeah, well, we can see that already.
Thank you. And it's one of the greatest honors to be able to be a coach and to have people trust in you and the protocol.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And to be so proud of something.
Yeah. Yeah. And so you talked about when someone starts coaching with you that you've got a success kit that they start with, and the book is actually in the kit. Yes?
Absolutely. The book is in the kit. It goes to absolutely everyone. And I do ask them to read. I do ask them to read a segment from it, from page 13 to, I believe, 42. The reason I do that is when someone first comes in, of course, we all know how difficult it is for someone. Well, the biggest success is when they walk through the door. So I really like to celebrate that right off the bat. You have just had the most amazing non-scale victory. By the way, I coach non-scale victories continually in our sessions, as they do in the book.
Yes. Yes.
What I want people to see is that everything that we're going through is normal. We all go through this. And the way Dr. Tran has written this book, everyone can understand it. And we can all feel a piece of us within that. For an example, talk about no pain, no gain, about a sailor on his own trying to encompass an open sea with wind and storm and everything they have to go through to be able to get to their destination. That's no different than us.
Right.
We are our own captain of our weight loss. It just gives people the ability to see things in a way they maybe hadn't seen before, and also they're in with themselves, so they can really think about this when they're reading it. The one thing I like is page 28, going on a diet is like sailing across oceans, like a lone sailor. You have to go it alone. And in with that, we're not talking about they don't have a coach and or support, but we still inside, we have to go it alone because we have to make a lot of decisions, and it's not always going to be smooth sailing. There are going to be bumpy roads, and that's okay. It's how we get to the other side. There's also, it talks about accountability, but not guilty.
Yes.
That's pretty amazing in itself.
You know what? Real quick, you brought that up, and I had prepared. I actually want to try this. Let's see if I can get this to work. I found, in preparing for the show yesterday, I found one of my favorite Dr. Tran videos that Ideal Protein had put together. And I want to see if I can get this video to go for us, which talks about exactly that. Let's give this a shot.
Being overweight isn't something to be ashamed of or to try and manage on your own. Weight loss is healthcare that you deserve. Being overweight is not your fault. Excess weight is mostly due to a hormone-related metabolic problem or your personal physical makeup. And it's magnified by poor eating habits, often resulting from a lack of knowledge. You are accountable, but not guilty. Being overweight can cause serious health issues, but losing weight on the structured protocol with the coach and education can have a positive impact on your health. Which is why at Ideal Protein, we believe that food is medicine and weight loss is healthcare, and that you deserve it.
Ha! I surprised you.
And you know what, John? I use that with my new patients because, for one, I want them to meet the man that's changed my life and so many others. And it's just said so well, it's spoken so well.
Right.
And they can see the person actually behind the book, behind the protocol. And I want them to know who this person is.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, again, the concept that he brought through in that video is that, you know, we have to stop. It's my fault. It's bad. I mean, we have to get rid of the shame and the guilt and all of that stuff. Throw it out the window. All right. There's all kinds of things that contribute to this that aren't your fault. The problem is you have to fix it, right? So you have to take responsibility and you have to be accountable. But the great news is we have this protocol and you have a coach to get you through this to the other side.
Absolutely. I couldn't stress that enough. And the coaching is so valuable. And I actually share that with everyone when they first come in. Your worst day is your best day to come in here. If your day hasn't been great, it's okay. Because you know what? It's okay to feel sad. It's okay to not have a good day. How are we going to get through that? And that's what I coach. And that's where this book comes in handy, because there's something in here that I can utilize for someone all the time. One of the biggest things here is when I do have a client read this, and I think if all coaches do that, we need to be very mindful, because it talks about having the coach walk in front of the client. And really, how important is that? Because for one, we may feel like, oh, a little embarrassed. Well, imagine what our client feels like when they come in and we're walking behind them, say up to the till or something. So if we're having our client read this, page 29 would be pretty important for us to, be able to adhere to, walking in front of our client. And again, just being mindful of everything and putting everyone at ease.
Yeah. You know what? Let's do this. You had given me kind of your 5 favorite passages with page numbers, and we were going to go ahead and go through that with our people. And like I said, grab your book and read through these passages, either while we're doing this, press pause, or after we're done. So page 44, treating yourself when you don't like yourself. Talk to us about this.
Well, this is especially important because a lot of times we need to like ourselves even with imperfections. We're not all perfect. And I can tell you, the person that you love or your children, they're not perfect. But you know what? You love them and you like them. So how important is that when we actually discover that we do need to start liking and loving ourselves? And I know it sounds cliche, but we love the people that we love and our children, even though there's imperfections.
Right.
We're all human and it's normal to have imperfections. We also need to reestablish a dialogue with ourselves because, again, what we say to ourselves is so important. We can do something we say, or we can undo something we say. So what we're saying is really very important. And it just, that vicious cycle of weight gain. And that is on page 44.
Yeah. And so again, let's stick with that thought, the first thought there, right? This has been one of my favorite Dr. Tran quotes. You don't have to lose weight to love yourself. Excuse me. But you
have.
He says, you don't have to lose weight to love yourself, but you have to love yourself to lose weight. I found that so impactful. It was the favorite thing I got out of the book the very first time. And in fact, my mentor in Ideal Protein had it stenciled on her wall. So I came back and I did the same thing. So this quote is on our Hall of Fame. It's the main hallway in our clinic where we have so many before and after pictures. And, you know, I kind of hope that it permeates everybody as they start the program with us.
That's fantastic.
You know, yeah. And in fact, I know you might find it hard to believe, but I got a second video.
Yay.
And let's bring the man in himself again one more time.
Hi, I'm Dr. Tran. I've always said you can't lose weight to love yourself. You have to love yourself to lose weight. A weight loss journey is often a sacrifice, right? Of course it is. And if you don't love or respect someone, you don't make a sacrifice for them, right? So here's the first question. Are you worth it? Another question is, am I ready to start accepting and loving myself the way that I am? We often hear that weight loss is all in the mind, it's a matter of willpower. I think that weight loss is all in your heart, and it's a matter of courage. And that is most possible when your brain and heart are in agreement.
Wow.
How true is that? How true is
Wasn't
that?
so powerful, right? And that leads us right into the next page that you chose for us, right? I think it's a great concept. Weight loss, a sacrifice or a gift?
This one I use so many times because we always hear people talk about, oh God, I'm going here. I have to give up this, have to give up that. And I ask them, I say, is weight loss a sacrifice or is it a gift? And if it's a steady sacrifice, you know what? This may not be working for them. Chances are it won't. If we can get our clients to see this is a gift, and I'll tell you a real special way to do it is your why.
Yes.
The why needs to be so important, then that becomes your gift. But if someone just wants to lose 40 pounds, they say they'll be happy, I can guarantee you they'll lose 40 pounds, but chances are it's going to come back because you're still not going to be happy even after you lose that. So in with this, the one thing that I always talk about, a lot of times what you'll find is I'll refer to a part of the book. And then what I do in my coaching is I'll pull the book out so that I'm validated with what I say. So for an example, is it a sacrifice or a gift? If we had an infection and we were prescribed a treatment of medication,
Yep.
we would take it. We would take that. Most of us would. Well,
Yes.
if we see weight loss as a treatment
Yep.
and just switch that around, why wouldn't we do the same thing? And that is actually on page 49 with the sacrifice or gift. And again, this talks about, am I worth it? And am I worth it? What's your why? The why really, if we can get our client to articulate the why and what's really important, I feel that's really, really interesting. Here's one thing I didn't have on here, though. Page 51, I'm going to read the whole thing to you. In the end, there are only two ways to go on a diet: with complacency, dragging along all of your baggage and perpetuating your status as a victim, or with compassion by managing to step back from your problems and take action out of self-love. That's huge. And there's been many times that I will pull that up because that's the real meat and potatoes, as I say it, to this, when someone's going through and they're saying, oh, I have to give up this, I have to give up this. Well, what are you gifting yourself? So I find this to be a real interesting piece, and we get a lot of conversation and dialogue around this for sure.
Yes, absolutely. So, and even the page before, I was reading it, and he says, if you see it as an unbearable deprivation and feel punished every time you lay your eyes on a piece of chocolate, stop everything. Your diet's going to fail. You're not ready to give yourself the gift of weight loss. Right?
Absolutely. And you know, John, when I talk about doing this and coaching this book and having my words validated, that's the thing. I may not say it word by word, but you know what? It's in the book. And when I go back and we do read that, for an example, how you read that and how I described it, someone's going, oh, okay, that's validated. And for us to know where to go for the resources is, I believe, crucial. It's really been working in with myself and my clients for sure.
Oh, I'm sure. Well, especially when they get tattoos with things that you say.
I know, right? Like, what is your why? Because honestly, in here, like, what is your why isn't in here, right?
Right.
been talking
It's
about.
implied. Yeah.
So isn't that something? Yes. Yeah. Very, very, very interesting. So this is a very interesting one for me, um, where they're talking about where there's joy, there's pain, right? Patients who get results they were looking for generally keep the pounds off. The higher the weight, the more difficult it is to lose, and the stronger the determination to not gain it all back. That's why this is so important, because it also talks about determination, not just through the weight loss, but we need to stabilize. We need to maintain to keep it off. So Dr. Tran's never saying this is a magic pill. And I'm very upfront with everyone as well. This is a transformational period.
Yes.
You're transforming. And oh yes, page 55. This is a real good one that I would say all coaches truly should read. Because what this does is it just shows us where our client is through their weight loss. And it's again, finding yourself through weight loss. And it just talks about how our self and our inner self become as one. Very, very interesting, because our clients start to get exposed as they shed their weight. And it really talks about what someone really feels like and what they're going through as they're losing the weight. And I really feel that this is one of the most important things for all of us to know and to be aware of. And when they talk about a contract of trust, for me, that's a success agreement that we start off with right at the beginning. But I also have a success agreement when we start phase 2 and when we start maintenance, because you know what? Why not review it? Why not commit to that yet once again? So
absolutely brilliant.
That's a big one for me. But honestly, page 55 to 57 really tells us what our client is really going through. And there is a lot in one person finding themselves going through transformation, starting to feel a different way, starting to look a different way, or what some people may say to them, and different things like that. And their interests always change because they're able to do more. And people aren't always going to change.
And that's like I say in the beginning of the show, right? I mean, after you've done this, number one, you can do things you thought you could never do again, right? And some people find themselves doing things they never even knew they wanted to.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
That's life possible. That's life possible.
It is life possible. It's the truth.
And, I like to approach it too. Everybody is so focused on phase 1, and they are so focused on weight loss, right? And I have to try to break them out of that and say, look, here's the thing, right? I'm a triathlete. You have to look at this as a triathlon, right?
Yes.
This isn't just a swim. We're not just going from one end of the pool to the other. You got to get out then, and in phase 2, we got to get on the bike. We got to learn proper human nutrition, because we certainly have not been taught that yet. I think phase 2 almost is the most fun these days. Learning that nutrition, finding out what foods actually are healthy for us and taste amazing, right?
I love phase 2. It's my favorite.
Yeah.
I'll never forget the day that I had Greek yogurt, berries, and some nuts for breakfast. How amazing is that?
Yeah.
And I'll tell you something that I do about 30 pounds or so before someone gets to their goal. I start to introduce phase 2. Because what I like to do is position it to whereby we are going to take some of the fear away, because we're still going to be fearful no matter how much we know about phase 2.
Right.
And I've learned this from experience. Going from phase 1 to phase 2 all of a sudden is a very frightful thing. So I actually get people into it. So, when we talk about a transformation, going from weight loss to weight stabilization, I start that early so that we can have the dialogue, because you know what? People have already lost their weight. I mean, whether it be 10 pounds and or more, but we've worked through that. And now it's time to start working on different situations, scenarios. And phase 2 is my favorite. I love phase 2. And I tell everybody right from day one, phase 2 is your most important. Please do not say goodbye, see you later, or we will.
Right.
Phase 2 is very important, and it's where we can establish a new relationship with food, with healthy choices.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
It's phenomenal. And
absolutely.
We didn't have that years ago.
We did not. And so again, if there's anybody
2.
out there listening who really has not gone through the new phase 2 system we put in place a couple of years ago, you owe it to yourself to get that gift. It truly is a gift. And then when we get to phase 3, we get off the bike and we start running. You know what? Phase 3 then is dealing with life's ups and life's downs, and also understanding what role does unhealthy food have in a healthy relationship with food, right? We need to be able to enjoy that occasionally, and we can. We just need to put it back in the place where it was supposed to be. Special occasions and moments, things that are meaningful, places where you could never, ever have something like that. It's a special restaurant in Italy or those kinds of, you're not never going to have something that's decadent and unhealthy.
Exactly. And I do now. But I know when I'm going to, or if it's spur of the moment, then I know what to do to keep myself on track. And yes, everything does come back, but I'll tell you, the things that I stay away from now, I never would have before. I could care less if I have a piece of bread, or there's certain things that doesn't matter to me, but it's all been, again, knowing your inner self, accepting what you can do, what you can't. Too many years of messing my metabolism up, I can't eat like, say, a person, a normal, healthy person, so to speak. I can't do that. And I know that. And I accept it now. And that's where I became as one.
That's awesome. So awesome. All right. Let's get back in the book. We're going to head for a little bit of science. Talk to us about why you chose this passage and what it meant to you.
Okay. Well, first of all, I'm going to tell you, I just chose this passage about 4 weeks ago, because when I was doing this webinar, this was profound. This was brought to my attention. Oh, are you not using this? Well, page 106 gives so much information on what is ideal protein food. Why are we using ideal protein food versus real food? And this is something that really is honestly in my new startup kit now, because it's so important. And what's really important about this is really having to read through it, but understanding that our proteins are so highly digestible.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's what makes the difference between, for an example, having a package of our IP food or 4.5 ounces of steak you would have to have in retrospect to our one package of ideal protein to be able to maintain muscle mass. And ours is so highly digestible. And again, it comes down to lipids and a branched chain amino acids. So this one is just brand new that I've been starting to include with my startup package, because that, again, is something everyone talks about. Oh, it's fake food. For one, it's temporary. And being that it's so highly digestible, we have enough protein and enough branched chain amino acids to maintain that muscle mass, which is critical to our weight loss and our weight maintenance. And it really breaks it down on page 107. I mean, our ideal protein is 5 times more effective than regular proteins. So why would we not do that? It's easy to follow. We eat the sheet. And again, it's temporary. And a lot of times when people may say, oh, it's packaged food, I'll say, what are you eating now?
Yeah, right.
And I'll tell you what, it's a whole lot worse than having packaged foods for however long you need to take your weight off. But in that time, John, what it is we're also learning, and we're educating our people, and they're growing, they're developing, and they're breaking down barriers, and they're conquering the world. And that's so important, to
Absolutely.
realize that our proteins are 5 times more effective.
And that's the thing, our one of the best parts about our protocol is how the weight loss is primarily fat, and we maintain that very precious muscle mass. As we age, we've known about this, but it becomes super important. We tend to lose muscle naturally as we get older. We're finding out now that's because up to this point, our nutrition has actually been deficient in protein, unfortunately. Most people barely get any when they come into our program in the first place, right? And then, you know what? As we're trying to lose weight, we want to have the adequate protein to support that muscle mass so we don't starve it off of our bodies. Because if you lose muscle mass, that decreases your metabolism, makes you sicker, and makes it easier to regain that weight. That's one of the things we're learning about these new weight loss drugs. They actually do it by appetite suppression, and so people actually starve the weight off their bodies, and so they're losing precious muscle mass. It's one of the worst side effects that happens. So much more important to do it this way, and to do it using foods that are highly available, highly absorbable proteins at a very low fat and low carb cost. That's the brilliance of it all.
It really is. And, we can work hand in hand in with that drug too, because, our pharmacists are educated to know what the drug is doing. And also we can work hand in hand to whereby, hey, we can spare your lean muscle mass, and you can get educated on how you're going to be able to keep this off. Because the worst thing
Right.
we can do is lose muscle mass. And every time we've been on a diet, that's what we've been doing.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
If it's
Super
not
important.
ideal protein.
All right. What do we got now? Hey, this comes up all the time, right? I'm anxious for you to coach us through this. What do I do if I think I've hit a plateau with my weight loss?
Well, first of all, I ask the person, can you tell me why you think you've hit a plateau? And I can tell you, most times people say, oh, I'm only losing 1.5 pounds or 2 pounds.
Right?
To each individual, a plateau means something different.
Wow.
But a lot of times we as coaches can assume, oh, they feel that they're stagnant. But tell me, what is a plateau to you? So when they actually understand that this is normal, and again, it's right in the book here, that it's normal, and most times it's constipation, menstruation, or deviation that's causing a plateau.
Right.
Many times, we get complacent with measuring our foods, our proteins, having a nibble here and there. So, so many times I do talk to them and say, what is your definition of plateau? Because they think losing 1 pound for 2-3 weeks is a plateau. Well, that's not a plateau. It is our body. And, when we've gone from losing maybe 4 to 5 pounds a week because we had so much to lose in the beginning to this, I mean, it's established
Right.
2 pounds a week is safe. So a lot of times it comes down to what they're thinking of it. So I'll pull the book right out to page 116 and start going over it with them. And the first paragraph talks about how it's entirely normal to have small periods of stagnation.
Yep.
And
Yep.
being consistent with our protocol, we are going to get the results. And I say that all the time. And that is the truth.
Absolutely.
So, sometimes when we are in deprivation, the body may decrease its energy needs to adapt. And sometimes it's advisable to take a break. And here's the thing, I don't say take a break and go out and binge eat.
Right.
You know what? Why don't we phase you in phase 2, right?
Yep.
To reset and then maintain. If you're feeling this way and you need to get through a summer, or Christmas, let's do this. Because we now have options that we can help people take a break. So when someone
Yep.
says, I don't want to think about this anymore, well, you're going to think about a whole lot more if you're not going to take a break in a healthy way. So
Absolutely.
I
That's the
find,
thing. People think it has to be all the first time, right? There's nothing wrong with coming down, taking a break, learning maintenance nutrition, and when you get your mojo, your motivation, your why stirred back up again, get back on that decline, right?
yes, and I've had more successful clients actually that have done that.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yep,
the other thing is it lessens the fear for sure. So
100%.
again, plateaus typically there's a reason in behind them. So I do ask for the journal, and
Hmm.
I, ask about their everyday. What are you eating? How are you eating it? Are you measuring it? I can see a journal, but are you actually measuring it? And have you
Right,
deviated? Is it constipation? Is it menstruation? It can be all of that.
right,
And if not, would you like to take a break? But only going through the phase 2.
right, right. All right, let's go through. So we've got one more, and this is a big one too. Why does it seem to be harder to lose weight a second time?
Well, the second time losing weight is difficult because, for one, we already know what to expect. Our enthusiasm is not as what it was when we first came in, nor our expectations. But one of the biggest things that happens is, and it is psychological. For one, we aren't feeling that great about ourselves because we have regained some of the weight. Doesn't
Mhm.
matter what
Yep.
we tell a client that you're successful coming in, you're not feeling that great about it and still beating yourself up. So that's a real important factor in with that. And also, are we measuring? Are we being as diligent as we did the first time around?
First time around. Yep.
Because I can honestly say, when somebody comes in to do a restart, I don't even use the old weigh-in sheet. Absolutely not. It's brand new. We go over the why. We do the whole thing again. Because if we just say, okay, just restart, and we go from where we left off, no, actually, we're restarting. And we're signing another success agreement, and we're going back through.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that is really, really important, in with the process for sure.
Yep. Absolutely.
And also,
Absolutely.
one's pride diminishes as well, right? The
Yes.
pride is so diminished. It's a difficult thing. We're embarrassed and things such as that.
Yep.
A lot
Yeah.
of
And
that
like you said,
really,
you have to defuse that, and you have to also like make them feel comfortable. Again, this happens to everyone. It's expected. Tune-ups, especially, are ideal protein best practice.
and
So
whenever I'm doing a tune-up, my clients know I'm doing a tune-up. I want them to know that because I
right.
want them to know, yes, they've watched me over the years keep my weight off, but hey, I've had to tune up,
Yeah.
before
Absolutely.
it out of hand for sure.
And we're getting into tune-up season, right?
Oh,
This is one of the most
absolutely.
common. This is kind of our second busy season, getting into fall here, as we put the summer behind us. We've enjoyed all kinds of things, vacations, etc. We're getting back into a routine, into life. We've got a couple of months until the holiday season comes around. This is the perfect and natural time that we're going to do a little tune-up. And you know what? 9 out of 10 people, when they come in now to see me for their tune-up, what do they say? They say, you know what, doc, I just want to feel good again. I'm feeling toxic and I need to get rid of that. Right? It's not like, oh my God, no, it's not about the weight. It's, man, I just want to feel great again.
It's true. Feeling great. Mental clarity was my
Yeah,
biggest takeaway from this.
it's a huge deal, right?
It is. I have something else that I didn't have on here, but um, you know, so many times we hear this, and I coach this in anticipation of negative comments from friends, family, or acquaintances.
Yes. Yes. I love you bringing this up.
So page 120, and I'm just going to read this because this
Yeah,
is what I
please
do
do.
for everyone. For an example, you hear someone say, oh, come on, slack off a bit for once, or stop dieting. You look fine the way you are.
Yes.
Right? And we hear it all the time. And it's very flattering if your circle of friends thinks this, but only you and no one else will decide if you look just fine the way you are. Remember, people resist change. They've always seen you struggle with your weight. Your success sometimes draws friends' attention to their own setbacks. Right? And that's
Yes.
important. And maybe people don't buy into your diet success because you haven't fully bought in yourself. And I say that because I believe that to be so true.
Wow.
I don't have anybody that I know even try remotely to say, oh, come on, because they've done it before. And I've always been able to say, this is what I want. I never say I can't have it. I say, I don't want it. And I need to do this for myself.
Yes.
That is so
powerful.
important because you know what? This is what happens. And I always want people to see that. So honestly, when someone gets close to their goal, I pull this out and I ask, are you getting any negative comments?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if I can share this with you, I was in a restaurant one day and I was having a salad. And it's not a phase one salad being on maintenance. I had quinoa, there's avocado. Oh, it was beautiful.
Yeah.
Someone in the next booth looked over at me and said, you don't need to eat that. And I said, thank you for your observation, but I want to eat this. So, you know, no one knows about my struggle for 46
Right.
years.
I have no
how
idea.
I work to keep this off.
Right.
But that's how people see it. Again, you know what? It was that person's insecurity, really.
100%. You know, I always say that says more about them than it says about you, right? They have no idea what's going on inside and where you've been. I love the fact too, the first time I was skinny shamed, and it was kind of like, you know, wow, you think that I've always kind of been this weight.
No.
Hang on real quick, and I've got my big picture to show them quickly. And that kind of blows their mind because, you know, Doc, you've never had to lose weight. You don't know what it's like. But, oh, no, I know just what it's like. Right?
Exactly. And people don't know us and people don't understand what a trigger is, you know, and right. I know what my trigger is. Mm-hmm. I know what it is all too well. And it's really doing something I didn't really want to do more than the food itself.
Yeah.
So I can tell you that I've been through all of that, and everybody I know is aware if they make something, just because I'm not eating it, there's no disrespect to them. But right, I made that happen myself, and I've bought in. So I really coach that because honestly, how many times do you hear that? Oh, well, company came. Oh, well, they made this. I didn't want
to offend them. Yep.
So what, are we going to offend ourselves or are we going to offend them? Well, for one, we don't have to offend them if they know. So really, you're not offending either party.
And I always bring up too, it goes back to one of your very first points about treatment. I always say, look, all you have to say is, you know what, I'm on this medical protocol and literally I haven't felt this good in forever. And when I can't have that right now until I complete the protocol. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And, oh, it looks beautiful. And I wish I could have some, but let it stop there. This is a medical protocol that I'm doing to get healthy. Right. And that usually disarms a lot of that, you know, certainly gives them the idea that you're not trying to disrespect them or insult them for sure.
Exactly. I have a client who literally, she's tried everything with people, had to go with the fact of telling her family that she's pre-diabetic. Guess what? There's no more shaming her. There's no more tempting her. Now, isn't that sad? Because are we not talking about the same thing? Like, are we not talking about this as a medical issue? So they've stopped bothering her. They've stopped tempting her. And I just found that so sad that she had to go to that extreme because people don't take this as seriously as any other illness. But in reality, this is very serious because it causes all of those illnesses.
100%, right? It is the foundation of all that stuff.
Truly is.
Yes.
So, like I say in this, there is something in this book for everyone. So when someone comes in and they might talk about something, it's like, well, let's go to page 108, and for the most part, I know where to go. I have this resource, but I'll tell you, I have no problem for somebody seeing me fumble around with my pages and they're marked and everything, because it's the truth, and we can all learn something from it.
100%. That is it, truly. And again, I think when you're going through all of that, they see how much you've used it. That's a well-loved, well-used book with so many bookmarks in it and dog-eared pages and highlighting and writing in it, right?
The highlighting, yeah, like you can see, it's the real deal, right?
Yep. The only other book I have that's just like that is Sonia Jones's book, 44 Lessons from a Loser. And I tell you, if you don't have that, you got to get that, girl.
44 Lessons from a Loser. I love it.
By Sonia Jones, our dear friend and inspirational colleague. Yes, absolutely. Well, Bev, thank you. Thank you so much. I love the fact that we were once again able to bring up and explore the contributions of Dr. Tran, not just scientifically, but mentally and emotionally to the weight loss journey. Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't have the book, please talk to your clinic owner about getting a copy of that book. I sure wish. I miss him to death. When I met him, he's such a powerful presence about him. He's a small person, although seems like he's a little bigger than you, right? He's a very small man, right? But I tell you, his persona is so large. His gentleness, but his confidence and his interest in you as a person when he meets you was so impactful when I got to meet him for the first time.
Such an inspiration, and I know that there's so many people out there that can thank Dr. Tran for the life that they have, including yourself. And that's why I always make it my mission that all the clients know who this man is, because he plays such an important role as to what we do. Yeah,
absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Thank you so much, Bev, for your time, for sharing your inspiration, your wisdom, your coaching with us. Like I said, sometimes I leave these shows wondering why any of my patients lose a pound, because I'm not. You're such a great coach.
Oh, thank you so much. That means the world to me. And have an ideal day, everyone.
All right, Bev, hang backstage. I'll get you in a sec.
Thanks so much.
Later. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you were inspired by today's show. Bev, certainly just her own personal story is such an inspiration, but then all of those coaching tips, all of those coaching moments, please, you know what? Please like, share, spread the word, show this to your friends and your family, anybody that you know that may be considering doing the Ideal Protein Protocol, people who might be struggling with their weight. Hopefully they'll get something good out of it. Like I said, I truly believe there is no bigger mission in healthcare today in North America than overweight, obesity, and metabolic disease. And there is no greater weapon against that to fight this battle than the Ideal Protein Protocol. So help us spread the word, help us with our mission and vision. And as always, keep reaching and going for your life possible.